I've got a great video for you. I am going to be making a birthday cake for my wife. Let's see how I did it and how it turned out. Hey, what's up? Thanks for clicking. We got the tape measure. This is a DIY channel, but we're going to be doing a little birthday baking today. We've got all of our supplies out, and I'm going to be making a birthday cake for my wife. And we're going to be making frosting from start to finish, from scratch, everything. So hopefully this can help you out. Let's actually measure what we're gonna need here. We've got a little baking pan about yay wide and yay long, and I'm gonna put more specific information down in the description below. Let's get started here. We're gonna add all of the ingredients. We've got flour, we've got sugar, we've got baking powder, we've got baking soda, and we've got salt. That's gonna get you started here. Basically mix up all those ingredients into a big bowl. And we're gonna be using our electric mixer here. My wife uses this a lot more than I do, but I absolutely love it. And we're gonna be mixing all those ingredients up. Again, the specific measurements are gonna be in the description down below, so you can just open those up and check those out. But lots of common ingredients, right? In other words, if you're in a tight spot and you need to make a last-minute birthday cake, this one is gonna be pretty good, I think. We've got a little vanilla. We're gonna add that and some milk. And we're gonna get 2 sticks of butter. I never said this was a healthy recipe. 2 sticks of butter, yikes. But what are you gonna do? And we're gonna add the milk and the vanilla and the butter into the dry material just like that. And we're gonna kick up the mixer. This is a kitchen, oh, all good, nothing I can't handle. We're gonna take a little bit more milk, about a half a cup or so, and we're gonna put in some sour cream. And wouldn't you know it, a classic cake batter needs some eggs. So we're gonna take 3 eggs, do the old one-handed crack, and whisk it up, baby. Just like that. So it should kind of be thin and liquid-like when it's all said and done. All right. We're gonna pour that into the dry mix that was mixed earlier with our vanilla and our milk and our butter. Now it's definitely looking batter-like, isn't it? And we're gonna slowly increase the speed, just like you see there. And we're gonna add the liquid, the milk, sour cream, and egg mixture, little by little here. You can play around with the speed, basically low, turn it up a little higher as you go. You get a little liquid in there so it becomes a little less viscous. Not that difficult. If I can do it, you can do it. There's a nice slow-mo shot of what the consistency should look like after, a good minute or 2 on medium-high speed. And now it should be kind of definitely a wet texture, and it should drip a little bit. We're gonna waltz that on over to our pre-greased, yes, I greased the cookie sheet, or the baking sheet, the baking pan, whatever you call this thing. And I'm gonna have to get a spatula out, a little rubber utensil, and get all of that out of there. And we're gonna carefully just kind of brush it or paint it or move it into the corners so that it's pretty much uniform. It's not exactly self-leveling, but you get the idea. And it is gonna rise a little bit after we bake this, so you'll see the appropriate depth for the pan is needed. Too shallow, you might get things spilling over as it rises, but you'll see that in a moment. We're gonna pop that in the oven, and we had that preset or preheated to about 350 or so, and we're gonna let that hang out for 32 minutes. We're gonna move on to the frosting now. We've got some chocolate frosting we're gonna be making with powdered sugar. So we've got cocoa, we've got powdered sugar. We are gonna be adding some milk and some salt and vanilla. And it's pretty much as easy as that. Of course, don't forget some butter. You'll see that coming up here pretty soon. Again, all the exact measurements are in the description below if you are interested in replicating this amazing cake. We're going to put the 2 sticks of butter in first and put that on high, so it should kind of look like this. And yeah, it's all stuck to the actual mixer. That's normal. We're going to take all the dry ingredients, the cocoa and the powdered sugar, and basically drop it into the butter. And we'll put it on low to medium, get things mixed up quite a bit, and then kick it up to high. This is what the consistency looks like after it is in the mixer for a couple of minutes just doing its thing. And there we go. Everything is perfectly uniformly mixed, I would say, and it tastes like chocolate. Let's do a little taste test here. What do you think?
It's amazing!
All right, he likes it. Approved. What 5-year-old does not like frosting, though? Got a couple of minutes left. We're going to go ahead and put the frosting in because the cake needs to cool. Let's check out to see how the cake is doing. But we're basically going to be popping all this in the fridge with the frosting while everything cools. And then tomorrow, the actual birthday, we'll be putting the frosting on the cake. Because you can't put it on now. It's piping hot. It's just going to melt all your frosting, and you're going to probably have a hot mess on your hands. Let's get this out into some nicer sunlight so you can see what that looks like. You can see it's browning a little bit on the top. And that looks like it's going to be done. I suspect it's cooked all the way through or baked all the way through. In other words, no mushiness, right? How pretty does that look? Did I do a good job? What do you think? Feel free to comment down below. What would you have done differently? Let's do the old poke test. Yeah, no liquid coming up, so that is baked all the way through. And as I said, we're going to be refrigerating everything, so I've got airtight, and we're going to just leave that in Tupperware overnight and then pull it back out the next morning when everything is cooled sufficiently. And you'll notice the frosting has hardened up quite a bit. We're just going to put it in the microwave. We've got microwavable Tupperware here, and no problem at all. And we just stir that up, basically bring that up to a little higher of a temperature, and you can, depending on how viscous or not you want it to be, you can put it in the microwave more or less time, but start with 15 seconds and see how it goes. But this is kind of the consistency that you want after it gets out of the microwave. It should not be hot, but it definitely should not be that refrigerator temperature anymore, and it should spread on or out just like that. Notice it needs some encouragement. Got my little cooking utensil here, and we're just going to spread that around and get that nice and uniform. Give you a better angle here. There we go. So that's kind of what it looks like, and it's very rich frosting. So if you don't have the actual depth, if you need a little bit more, be careful. A little goes a long way. It's extremely sweet, so we're just looking for some good coverage here. We don't want any of the cake showing through. And I'm not a baker. If you're watching this and you could do this 1,000 times better, well, you probably can. But I was a little short on time, looking for a quick, easy recipe, and this is what I found. All right, what do you think? Pretty basic, right? Well, we're gonna pretty it up a little bit. We'll get the kids in here. We'll put some sprinkles on it, put some decorations on it, and boom, this is a pretty good looking cake, if I do say so myself. There are the sprinkles. Of course, we need some candles as well. And we'll leave you with some final shots. Again, if you're looking for a pretty simple, easy birthday cake idea, here it is, recommended. Vanilla cake and chocolate frosting.